Now, here's where the show's writers completely lost the plot, and I mean that literally. The amount of money in Dylan's trust fund changed depending on which episode you were watching. In Season 3, Episode 21, titled Dead End, it's clearly established that Dylan's trust fund is worth $10 million. That's what Brenda mentions when she asks Brandon, "What would you do with $10 million?" But here's the thing, this is where fans have been confused for decades. In an earlier episode called Wild Horses, Dylan mentions that when he turns 21, he'll inherit a trust fund worth hundreds of millions. So which is it, 10 million or hundreds of millions? The answer is nobody knows. The writers clearly didn't have a series Bible, and they definitely weren't talking to each other. This is one of the biggest continuity errors in television history, and it's been driving fans crazy for years. But regardless of whether Dylan was worth 10 million or hundreds of millions, he was about to lose almost all of it in the most psychologically devastating way possible. In Season 4, Dylan meets a woman named Suzanne Steele, who claims to be the mother of Jack McKay's illegitimate daughter, a little girl named Erica. Dylan, who's desperate for family connection, accepts on both his family without really verifying their story. Suzanne then introduces Dylan to her new husband, Kevin Weaver, an environmental chemist working on clean beach projects. Dylan, being passionate about environmental causes and hungry for family, agrees to fund Kevin's work. Here's the twist that the audience knew, but Dylan didn't. Suzanne and Kevin were running a long con. They weren't family, Erica wasn't a sister, and Kevin's environmental project was completely fake. They were using Dylan's desperate need for family to steal his entire fortune. Think about how psychologically cruel this is. Dylan's already been abandoned by both parents, and now these people are exploiting his deepest emotional wounds to rob him blind. It's like taking candy from a baby, except the baby is a traumatized teenager with abandonment issues, and candy is $10 million. The con is revealed in the Season 4 finale, but by then, Suzanne and Kevin have disappeared with all of Dylan's money. Dylan tracks them down to Mexico in Season 5, where he has to team up with an ex-FBI agent named Jonesy to get his money back. They managed to recover about $8 million. Some of the money has been spent on living expenses and buying property. But here's the kicker. Dylan has to split the recovered money 50-50 with Jonesy as payment for his help. So Dylan gets back about $4 million out of his original $10 million trust fund. He went from being worth at least $10 million to having $4 million. And that's if we're using the conservative estimate. By Season 5, Dylan is nearly bankrupt and spiraling. He spent the summer in Mexico dealing with addiction issues and the psychological trauma of being betrayed by people he thought were family. The show makes it clear that Dylan is keeping his financial problems secret from his friends because he's ashamed. This is where the character really hits rock bottom. He's lost his money, his sense of family, and his trust in other people. Luke Perry's performance during this period is actually incredible. You can see the weight of everything Dylan's been through.